Right now, on to the point. A community remembering a 10-year-old allegedly shot and killed by another 10-year-old. The gun was found in his father's car. A powerful earthquake rocks Japan. Tsunami warnings sent across multiple countries.
It's just a violent shaking. Violent shaking.
An off-duty deputy saving a man's life. The details behind the rescue. And dozens of new laws take effect in California. How they'll impact you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Alex Bell. First, a heartbreaking story out of Sacramento County. A family and a community in mourning after a 10-year-old named Keith Frierson was shot and killed just 2 days before the new year. The alleged shooter, another 10-year-old boy, and tonight family, friends, and neighbors are all coming together to honor that little boy. Our ABC 10's Luke Cleary is at the site of tonight's visual and joins us with more this evening. Luke.
Hey Alex, yeah, we're standing here in the parking lot of this apartment complex in Foothill Farms, where I'd say there are a little more than 100 people who have come out here to honor the life of young Keith Frierson. He was known affectionately by family and friends as KJ, and we just spent a few moments speaking with his mother here, Brittany Frierson, who described a sweet young boy who on his last day simply wanted to go outside and ride a brand new bicycle that he'd gotten for Christmas. Now, the details around exactly what happened between him and this other 10-year-old boy are a bit murky, but we're getting new details tonight from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. They say that it happened again here in this parking lot, that the boy found a gun in his father's car. Investigators now believe that that boy's father, Arquette Davis, hid the gun after the shooting, throwing it into a nearby trash can. Again, this is an incredibly emotional scene here, and we spent some time with KJ's mother, and we'll have more for you tonight at 11 on Late News Tonight. We'll have additional details from the investigation and where this stands, but for now, we'll send this back to you.
Luke, thank you so much. And as mentioned, 53-year-old Arquette Davis and his 10-year-old son have been arrested in this case. The boy has been charged with murder, while Davis is facing felony firearm charges and child endangerment accessory after the fact. Deputies believe the 10-year-old went to his father's car to get him cigarettes before the shooting and also allegedly grabbed a gun. We spoke with the local defense attorney on what might happen when a 10-year-old is charged with murder. Because of the suspect's age, he says this isn't going to be just a normal murder case.
It's going to be heard by a commissioner or a judge, not a jury. And if convicted, if it's a murder charge right now, if it's convicted of a murder charge, they can be held almost to the age of 25.
The sheriff's office says the victim has no relation to the suspects, adding that a lot of people did witness this crime take place. One of those witnesses was as young as 6 years old. Arquette Davis is scheduled to be in court this Wednesday. Now to Japan tonight, where millions are on high alert after a major 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit the country's western coast. Tsunami warnings are in effect across the area and in eastern Russia and North Korea. We're getting a closer look at some of those very scary moments. The quake hitting as thousands were visiting a shrine to mark the new year. New video of this neighborhood shows multiple homes collapsing, kicking up dust and debris, all floating into the air.
Just didn't feel normal. It didn't feel like the normal. You got an earthquake for, tremors for a couple of minutes. This felt more significant than that. And it felt a lot more dangerous.
Tens of thousands are without electricity and hundreds sleeping outside in below freezing temperatures, with at least 19 aftershocks already reported. And officials are warning residents in the area to remain on alert as more earthquakes are likely. An off-duty sheriff's deputy may have very saved a man's life after springing into action to provide first aid at the scene of an emergency that happened right in front of him. And he is sharing his story with us tonight. Becca Haubeger has more.
On the afternoon of New Year's Eve, Corey Patterson was the right guy at the right place at the right time.
I was in the Army prior to this, so I want to say I'm well trained in reacting to a crisis.
He's a deputy with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, but was off the clock when this happened.
My wife and I were on a walk with our 5-month-old, and then I heard the sounds of what I assumed it was like a vehicle collision.
Patterson saw a car had veered off Zinfandel Drive and crashed into the chain link fence along the athletic fields of Mitchell Middle School in Rancho Cordova. As bystanders called 911, Patterson approached the car.
I had knocked on the window to see if the guy was responsive. He wasn't responding to anything. He didn't appear to be breathing.
Patterson enlisted the help of bystanders to break the passenger side window and unlock the car.
And then I was able to open the driver's side door and pull the man out. I checked his pulse, didn't have a pulse, still wasn't breathing. His face was starting to turn purple. That's when I started doing CPR.
He says he did about a minute of chest compressions before Rancho Cordova police arrived on scene, with training fresh in his mind.
Like literally did CPR first aid AED training 2 weeks ago. I recertified on it.
Patterson credits his wife with helping to control the chaos and organize bystanders at the scene.
She helped me out by being able to do those things so I could concentrate on him.
A sheriff's office spokesperson says it was a seizure that caused the driver to go off the road.
Hopefully save that man's life.
He encourages people to learn CPR so they can step in during a crisis to help a loved one or a complete stranger.
And a sheriff office spokesperson says the driver is expected to recover. We have asked for an update on his condition, and we're just waiting to hear back. Meanwhile, the deputy has been with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office for about 4 years now, and he says this was the first time ever doing CPR in a real-life event. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. All right, coming up onto the point, growing worries of a wider war in the Middle East, how the U.S. could be caught right in the middle.
A winter weather advisory set to go in effect. The big storm system headed our way.
And later, from housing to guns, some of the state's top issues are being addressed in new laws, how they could impact you. Plus, a look at how one group is celebrating the end of a decades-long ban.
I love seeing everybody out here just having a good time, using this beautiful park, and just starting the new year right.
Welcome back. You are taking a live look over downtown Sacramento tonight. A calm evening, but this morning, man, it was very, very foggy. Meteorologist Carly Gomez is joining me now for what we can expect this evening.
Yeah, we are looking at more fog development, not quite as what we saw this morning, so that's some good news. But we are looking at a big change headed our way as we start getting a winter weather advisory taking effect moving into tomorrow as we get into the evening hours. Right now, though, a high pressure system in place. That's leaving us dry. We saw some sunshine. It was beautiful this afternoon, but that helped with that fog development early this morning. Now the low pressure system offshore ready to arrive. We'll get a bit of cloud coverage moving to the mid-morning lunchtime hour for your Tuesday. Then the tail end of this right down there going to start moving and spreading across our area, bringing us showers in the valley, pretty heavy at times with snowfall for the Sierra. Getting that closer look now, we are looking at freeze up there as well as a wind advisory on the coastline. Then a winter weather advisory is going to take effect as we get from 10 p.m. on Tuesday until 4 a.m. on Thursday. We could expect to see even snow levels dropping down to even 5,000 feet. We're hoping that this system actually delivers quite a bit of snow, but they have been warm lately, so this may not deliver what we're hoping. Let's take a look into Tuesday. We get a nice solid line of showers beginning to shift through around 5:30 p.m., hitting areas of Yuba City, down portions of North Sacramento into Vacaville, Fairfield, Davis, West Sacramento, and San Francisco. Then continues on for the next few hours, heavy at times. And then finally into the foothills by 11 p.m. with snowfall starting to reduce down to those lower elevations. More scattered showers early into your Wednesday morning. Still hitting Sacramento down into the Central Valley. And then finally, things start clearing out by Wednesday evening, although we could still see a few scattered snow showers for the Sierra into Wednesday night. Then that advisory gets lifted. Morning fog Thursday morning, and then we'll start to see the next storm system expected to arrive into that weekend for Saturday. Now, we can see anywhere from a 1/10 of an inch all the way up to a little more than a 1/2 inch into your Tuesday night. Then additional rain totals into Wednesday early morning hours could bring us anywhere from a 1/2 inch up to even 1.5 inches near Auburn. So looking pretty decent. Let's talk snow totals. Now we're looking at as much as anywhere from 8 to 12 inches possible. The global computer models here showing, hey, we could even see a little bit of snow near Nevada City, just north of there, maybe 2 inches, and then up to maybe 10 inches Emigrant Gap, up to Donner 9 inches. Some of the passes and peaks could maybe get 18 inches. But again, these are preliminary. We've been looking at snow levels dropping, but this has been, and we have been seeing some warmer systems. We're hoping, though, it can stay cold and we get some cold air in between holding on to that snowfall. All right, talking here about our 10-day forecast. We're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday with those showers. And remember, Tuesday is actually pretty decent for most of the day till you get to the evening hours. That's where we see Wednesday, most of that rain in the morning hours. And then by the afternoon, it's pretty nice. Thursday into Friday, some sunshine. Then we're looking at our next storm system Friday night into Saturday. Overnight lows are expected to begin dropping off even into those 30s as we start pushing through the weekend. Alex.
Coming up onto the point, a popular over-the-counter medication ruled not effective. We verify if you could be eligible for a legal settlement. And the new law is addressing some of California's biggest issues, the impact that they'll have on you. Tonight, there's growing concerns for a wider Middle East conflict after the U.S. says they killed several Iran-backed Houthi rebels who were attacking them in the Red Sea. The White House says they are not backing down and have vowed to continue acting in self-defense. The Houthis responding, saying they will not hesitate to confront any aggression. Em Nguyen has the latest from Washington.
The onset of the new year marking escalating tensions in the Middle East with growing concerns about the potential for a broader conflict. The U.S. appearing to get dragged in deeper as Iran-backed Houthi rebels from Yemen in the Red Sea launched more aggressive attacks against international vessels.
The Houthis should stop these attacks.
The U.S. saying Sunday Navy helicopters were under attack and forced to return fire in self-defense, sinking 3 Houthi boats, for the first time killing the crew on board. The Houthis saying they lost 10 members. The Iran-aligned group blamed for almost 24 attacks in the last 6 weeks, which they say are linked to the support of the Palestinians against Israel.
We're going to put the kind of forces we need in the region to protect those interests.
Today, the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani accusing the U.S. of intensifying instability in the Red Sea region. Kanani also responding to Israel's strike last week that killed a senior Iranian officer in Syria, saying Iran retains the legal right to respond. This as fighting rages on in Gaza. The Israeli military saying they found numerous Hamas weapons, including explosives, in a Gaza kindergarten. Sunday, an Israeli strike killed at least 35 people in central Gaza, according to hospital officials. Hours later, on New Year's, Hamas militants fired a barrage of rockets into Israel, setting off sirens across the central and southern parts. No injuries reported. Israel's prime minister saying he believes the war will continue for many more months.
Right now, negotiators are working towards another exchange deal to help free dozens of remaining hostages being held in Gaza. But so far, Israel has resisted international calls for another ceasefire. 2 people are dead and 8 others are hurt after a shooting at a New Year's party in downtown LA. The shooting happened shortly after 1 this morning, and police say at least 3 people were rushed to the hospital in various conditions, and 2 others died at the scene. Investigators are working to figure out what led up to the shooting and identify those involved. Over in San Francisco, 1 person is dead after suffering a firework-related injury. It happened in the city's Treasure Island neighborhood. The call came in less than an hour into the new year, around 12:40 a.m. Officers responded to find the victim, who was given first aid, but when paramedics arrived, he was pronounced dead. No other injuries were reported. As people make their way back from all of their holiday plans, doctors are warning of an increase in respiratory illnesses. Right now, 31 states and Washington, D.C. are seeing high or very high levels of infection from flu, COVID, RSV, and other common colds. Some hospitals are even bringing back mask requirements. The CDC is estimating 4,500 flu-related deaths this season alone, with the number of infections growing or likely growing in every state. And as cold and flu season continue to ramp up, the FDA recently concluded that a popular over-the-counter decongestant, phenylephrine, is not effective. And this is the active ingredient in many cold medications, including those sold under the CVS brand. So if you bought these products, could you be eligible for a legal settlement? Tonight, Megan Bragg verifies.
Our sources, the FDA, CVS, and several law firms. When we looked online, we saw several law firms posting class action lawsuits against CVS. One was filed in federal court in South Carolina. The plaintiff claims the phenylephrine drug sold at CVS stores under the CVS Health label was no more effective than a sugar pill. Another class action lawsuit filed in Illinois seeks to establish a national and multi-state consumer protection class action on behalf of consumers who purchase these 5 CVS Health products products with phenylephrine in them. In September, the FDA panel refused to back the effectiveness of oral over-the-counter medicines made with phenylephrine, and they said no more trials were required to prove otherwise. When we reached out to CVS, they told us they do not comment on pending litigation. However, the drugstore chain told NBC News they are pulling the most common decongestants that have phenylephrine as the only active ingredient from their shelves. We went to a local CVS store and found there are still decongestants with phenylephrine as an ingredient, but not the only active ingredient. So we can verify that yes, there are several class action lawsuits against CVS claiming the drugstore chain manufactured and sold cold medicine in a false, misleading, and deceptive manner. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bratt.
And it is the new year, which means new laws are now in effect in California, from housing to guns. Some of California's biggest issues are being addressed. So here's a breakdown of some of the top ones that you need to know about. Among the batch of housing laws includes one that expands a law that speeds up the approval of apartment buildings in which some units are set aside for low-income Californians. Another will allow religious institutions and nonprofit colleges to turn their parking lots and other properties into low-income housing. For workers, California's minimum wage has increased to $16 per hour for all employees. And starting in April of this year, fast food workers who earn a minimum wage will see their wages jump from $16 an hour to $20 an hour. And part of a new law will also hold corporate fast food chains responsible for working conditions owned by individual franchisees. And workers in California who use marijuana now have additional protections. Cannabis use while on the clock is still restricted, but it is now illegal for an employer to not hire or terminate an employee for using cannabis products outside of work. And another new law bans people from carrying firearms in most public places. A U.S. district judge tried to block the law from taking effect, saying it violates the Second Amendment, but a federal appeals court put a temporary hold on the district judge's ruling. The appeals court decision allows the law to go into effect as the legal fight continues, and it prohibits people from carrying concealed guns in 26 places, including public parks, playgrounds, churches, banks, and zoos. And finally, another new law taking effect today ends California's decades-long ban on cruising, because since the 1980s, state vehicle code has allowed cities across California to stop drivers from cruising and driving cars that are modified to be a certain height. So photojournalist Don Henry shows us people in the lowrider community how they celebrated today by taking their cars out in Land Park.
Feels good to be able to cruise without getting in trouble.
I love it. I love the community that it creates. I love seeing everybody out here just having a good time, using this beautiful park, and just starting the new year right.
I've been lowriding since back in the 80s, you know what I mean? I'm blind now, so my son-in-law, he drives me around. So we built this right here, what's in front of you, so it's good. Loving it.
I'm not into cars, but I think the creativity and the talent and obviously the passion that goes into this, it's hard not to be sort of contagious.
Pass it on to my grandkids and all that, so be able to experience it with my son-in-law.
My son just turned 10 and he's all into the cars. Every time we take it out and someone looks at it, like, that's my car, that's my car.
Yeah.
So.
And for a list of new laws taking effect today, including paid sick leave, conservatorship, and camping, head to the front page of our ABC 10 website right now to get caught up. Coming up, we take you to today's Rose Parade, a recap of the event. If you missed it this morning, the 135th Rose Parade rolled through Pasadena, and this year's theme was celebrating a world of music, the universal language. Singer Michelle Williams kicked off the festivities with Jordan Sparks providing the grand finale, and dozens of pedal-packed floats, marching bands, and high-stepping horses traveled the 5.5-mile route. Among them was a Sacramento equestrian group, as well as the U.S. Forest Service Packers, wildland firefighters, and VIPs. Very exciting. And I hope that you at home, you had a wonderful holiday and a great start to the new year. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And tonight, as we kick off the new year, let us know if there's something that you have questions about or you just want more information on. That's what we're here for, is to answer your questions. This show is all about bringing more context and information to you at home, our community. You can always email or text me and the team anytime. We love when you write in, and we love to read all of your comments too. So I hope you have a great night. I will see you tomorrow, and make sure you stay safe today. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.